listening to Her Profit Era, the podcast for founders who want a business that actually works. A business that's profitable, predictable, and pays them well. I am Cindy Kumar, a CPA, a fractional CFO from Abbotsford, BC, Canada. I'm the person founders call when they're tired of high revenue months with no money left over. I started this podcast because too many founders were chasing sales while their margins, cash flow, and bank accounts told a completely different story. I believe profit and money in the bank is the standard, not a bonus, and that every founder deserves clarity around their numbers. Each week, you'll get real financial strategy you can actually use and honest conversations with founders and industry experts about what it really takes to build a business that lasts. Today, I'm sitting down with Krista Curtis, the founder of DBL Designs, a luxury jewelry brand built on bold design, intention, and confidence. Krista has spent over a decade creating statement pieces that aren't just beautiful. They're meant to be worn as daily reminders of strength, abundance, and self-worth. What started as hand-drawn sketches has grown into a powerful brand known for high-quality gold pieces and a community of women who connect deeply to the meaning behind what they wear. Today, we're talking about building a brand with conviction, scaling with intention, and what it really takes to turn creativity into a serious business. Now, this episode is super special to me because when I came up with the idea of doing a founders kind of series, Krista was the first person I had reached out to by email. And with her yes, it led to so many conversations with different founders, even with Molly, the producer of Dragon's Den. So I'm really excited, but also so proud of myself for just shooting my shot. So let's get into it. Hi, Krista. Thanks so much for joining me on Our Profit Era today.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been excited to talk with you for some time, so I can only imagine where this conversation's gonna go. It's gonna be amazing.
I'm so excited. This is actually our second time recording. The first time it just didn't save.
Well, I think everything happens for a reason. I feel like this conversation's gonna be electric and beautiful, so it's divine timing, my girl.
Yeah, for sure. Could you just share a little bit about yourself and how you started DBL?
Actually, that is the perfect question. I was just on a walk and I was kind of actually just thinking of that. We're just coming up on our 12-year anniversary, and
Wow.
I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, like lots has happened over 12 years. And honestly, my business started from me just doing what I love. I still to this day, when I was a 5-year-old girl, I always had this inner knowing that I was going to do something amazing or I was going to change the world. I had that knowing. It was so cool. And I still have it. As a young girl, I'm like, I didn't know what that meant, or
Right.
I still kind of don't. But I think you get more clarity as you go and the dots start to connect. So over this 11 years, my business has evolved as I have. And to be perfectly honest, it is just a pure expression of my own inner child. 100%. And
That's
I
so
think,
beautiful.
right? And I think as we get older, this is like kind of a quote that I heard from Dove, like the beauty brand there. They had said at age 8, most females specifically start to stop dreaming at about age 8. And I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
oh my gosh. And they start to like dim their light a little bit, and we want to be like everybody else, and we feel
Yeah.
like being different, right, means that we don't fit in or we don't belong. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can resonate with that a lot with my story. And I think that's why I still tap so hard into that inner child, because that inner child is so beautiful before the world got a hold of us and kind of told us who we should be or what we should do or how we should show up, right? So
Right.
I think I'm trying really, really hard to stay true to that cute little 5-year-old girl, that inner child that's like, no, girl, you just beat to your own drum. And that's what my business is. It's a full expression of that.
That is so beautiful. And I feel like when I saw you on Dragon's Den, it just reminded me of this like creativity and this like inner child. And I'm just like, wow, like you just radiated so much like positive energy and joy.
Oh, thank you. Which is actually super funny when you brought up the Dragon's Den, which was like the iconic season 20. So I felt like, okay, this is my time to shine. I literally wore my 2006 grad dress. I had a T-shirt on that was like hand painted. My sneakers were hand painted. I had my like colorful hat, my colorful jewelry. Everything was just like a fairy tale of like what a little kid would like dream up. And I'm like, I am
Yeah.
wearing this, right? So I thank you for saying that, because again, I had I think when I want to just be perfect. I don't even know if I've told anybody this other than my dad and my husband, but I had told a few people of like the outfit I was going to wear on Dragon's Den, because I instantly I knew what I was going to wear. I like visualized
Wow.
it. And a few people have been like, "Oh my god, no, don't do that." They're like, "These are professional business people. That sounds really kind of like silly and crazy, and like you need to take this serious." And I was like,
Yeah.
and I actually thought for a second, I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I actually let the opinions of people that I almost changed the whole trajectory of what I was going to do, which actually ended up being iconic. And anywhere I go, people are like, oh my God, you run Dragon's Den, you wore your grad dress. And I was like, it was a defining moment. That dress needed its dance again 20 years later.
Yeah, it definitely stood out from like all the pitches like I remember. It's yours for sure is like top one.
Well, thank you. And I think that was just another reminder. And like, if this is anybody's sign right now, like, I think we need to stop listening so much to the outside noise.
Yeah.
And as women, we are so intuitive, so intuitive. And we know, but sometimes the world is loud, right?
Yeah.
And we listen to other things. And I think that's just, again, I can kind of speak to my own story of like you ship shaped and kind of change to please other people. So I think just stay true to who you are, and not everybody's going to like you. So you
Yeah.
know what? You're stuck with you for the rest of your life. So you should truly you should love yourself. So that's all that matters. We're the ones stuck with ourselves forever.
That's so beautiful and so true. Yeah, even for myself, like I had a huge like content block. I didn't know what to post. Was just like over consuming and it's just like let's just take a step back and create some space. Like what makes me me and how can I showcase that?
I Isn't that crazy? I love that you just said that, because I think for me, for quite some time, I have had not necessarily like a content block, but like almost confused with like what direction I want to go in, or who am
Yeah.
I anymore, or like, right, what is my like purpose or mission. All of those things have been like really questioning in my head, but I think it was me too. You overconsume,
Yeah.
or I'm letting too much outside noise come in, that I'm like, well, I'm not like that, or I'm not like that, or they're doing really well, how come I'm not, like,
Yeah.
right? And
You
then we're
start
just
comparing
like,
yourself.
yeah. And I think like honestly, with coming into this new year and new seasons, I have been really hyper focused on like not listening to any news or TV or like the scrolling, and just like being out in nature, or just like my word I picked this year is stillness and being with myself. And that is where the clarity totally comes from. And it can be uncomfortable when you're sitting with yourself too, right? Like
Yeah.
your own judgment comes in and your self-talk, but if we can have the awareness to control that, we're like, damn, that's where the magic happens. So I challenge anybody listening to try to just get back in touch with that inner knowing, because we do know, we overconsume, and there's loud noise, and if we can get back to that stillness, there's some power in there.
Yeah, and it's almost like we don't want to trust like our own judgment or our own
Yes.
intuition.
Yes, that's actually my mantra with this group that I'm in, and our mantra this week was, I trust the woman that I'm becoming, right? We need to trust who we are.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It goes back to just not maybe believing or trusting ourselves as much. But again, we're like, what's the worst thing that could happen? I think again, then it goes back to that, oh, what if we fail? Or what if we, right? So we don't
Yeah.
try anything because that fear of what other people will think, or the fear of failure, or it won't do well. But that's again our own judgment. Nobody really is watching that closely or intently. And if they are, all right, give them a
Yeah.
show.
So true. And for Dragon's Den, you applied like 8 times. Most people would have given up by like two or three. What kept you going?
That is so funny. I think when I put my mind to something where again we listen to our intuition, where we're like, this is it, this is what
Yeah.
I want to do. I think if you just really stick to what it is that you want, regardless of the outcome, you really don't know. But if you're like, you trust yourself and believe that this is gonna be a thing. I actually I suggest people do this too. I have lots of plants everywhere in my house,
Yeah.
live plants, for the reason that they're always growing, they're always changing. Maybe sometimes I've had some that have died and I'm like, "Oh my God, what am I doing wrong?"
Yeah.
Right? But it's this it's the same thing where I'm like, if I give them enough sunshine and enough water and love, like I feel like I put out a good energy. So maybe that's what's helping the plants grow. But it was the same thing with Dragon's Den. You plant a seed
Yeah.
and you have no idea all the beautiful stuff that's going on under the soil, right? That
Right.
needs to happen before that seed can actually come through, right? So if you just keep trusting the process and watering it like you would a seed, eventually something's going to start to sprout. And that's what happened for me. So I applied once. Of course, nothing happened. They're not even like announcing that they're going to be having like anything. So then I applied again and I was like, you know what? I feel like most people would just put in one
Yeah.
audition. So I'm like, I'm gonna do it the first Monday of every week, and I'm just gonna do that. That's just gonna be my fun thing that I do.
Yeah.
And so that was me planting the seed, right? Like every Monday, I'm like, I'm gonna keep planting this seed and I'm gonna water it and I'm gonna give it the sunshine. And there was a lot of other seeds that I kind of planted in there too, and started following the Dragon's Den page and started commenting
Yeah.
on some of like the Dragons pages and the producers, and like keep planting that seed, right? So they see
Right.
you. And eventually all that beautiful planting and watering paid off. And I was just like, of course this worked because I believed in it.
Yeah.
So I think that's just one of those things. It's persistent, consistent action, and just that belief, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's funny you say that because I feel like when I watch your episode, like something just clicked, like I need to talk to Krista and want to learn more about her story. And that's where like all these podcast interviews started happening from, with just like emailing you, emailing other people. I just recorded an episode with Molly this week, but it's all about planting the seeds.
100%. And I think that's the most um I think that whether anything in life, I think we forget that you can hope and you can pray, you
Yeah.
can wish and you can journal it all out, but we do actually have to take action. And that is the
Right.
seed planting, right? Like,
Yeah.
not everything just happens by putting out your wishes into the universe. As much as we would love that to happen, I have like a little letter here that I wrote that I'm like every day. I do put a letter out into the universe, but you do have to take action on it every single time too, right? And even
Yeah.
if it's just a small action every single day, like you said, maybe it's just an email you sent, or you sent out a direct message to someone and like, look at, like, that's just it. And then you end up eventually getting to where you want to go if you don't stop. I always, that's
Yeah.
another thing from, I think it was Tony Robbins. Uh he always tells these beautiful stories, and his was the one too. It's like, why would you stop? What if you
Yeah.
were literally 2 millimeters or one day or one ask or one email away from your all your dreams unfolding, and then you stopped, and then it just, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if you were just that little teeny bit away? And I always remember that on those hard days when you just want to like burn
Give up.
everything down, or like not take another step, or not put another Dragon's Den application in. You're like, nope, what if
Yeah.
that's the one they finally see, right? Like,
Right.
just it could be one more. So I love
Yeah,
that.
I always say, like, if you're so passionate and so aligned with what you're doing, why would the results not show up? It's just a matter of time.
Yes, and honestly, I there's been one that I've been working on for about 6 years now, a big dream of mine, and it hasn't been happening. There's been little kind of things that along the way give you like that little spark, like, okay, maybe this is it. But
Yeah.
then sometimes, like, I think sometimes I'm like, right now I'm in that just release it,
Yeah.
it's still there, it's still at the back of my mind, but maybe there is a different, like, I'm so hyper focused on, I'm going to call it the yellow door, that
Yeah.
maybe that yellow door, if I walked through it, wasn't in right alignment right now, and I meant to be like, oh shit, there's a really cool pink door back here that maybe I should
Yeah.
go through that one. And it doesn't mean you stop on your
Yeah.
journey, but maybe you're just heading down another path right now and it could lead you there. So I think sometimes it doesn't mean you gave up on it. I think it's still fully alive within you. But I
Yeah.
think sometimes maybe you're pushing too hard and you need to release that and let the magic happen, right?
Yeah, because anything forced or rushed is never good.
No, exactly. And I think I can definitely relate with that, where if you force things you end up going in a different direction or the
Yeah.
wrong direction. And maybe you might have achieved something really cool, but if it doesn't feel aligned, then I truly don't think that that's not success in my mind too. You're like, okay, cool, like I might have like checked all the boxes,
Yeah.
but if your heart and in your gut and your soul it doesn't feel aligned, then I think that's where we need to like be like, okay, where do we actually want to go? Like what
Yeah.
excites me, right? What feels good?
Yeah. So true. When was the first time you designed your first piece?
Hmm. Oh gosh. I would say, oh, that's a good question. I was like, I guess maybe like the first piece that I ever sold would have been, gosh, probably 12, 13 years ago, maybe. But the first piece I think I ever designed would have been like as a young girl. I've always loved making jewelry or anything, clothing, jewelry, accessories, you name it. I was always been a creative, super creative kid. But the first piece I ever sold would have been probably back in like 2012, I guess, somewhere's around there. I was a hairstylist and I had made a necklace that I was wearing, and she loved it and she said, where did you get your necklace? So
Yeah.
I said, well, I made it. And of course she's like, well, can you make me one? And I thought that was so strange. But anyways, long story short, I ended up making her one and I was like, well,
Oh,
that was
wow.
really cool, my first sale. And I was like, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And then I was a hairstylist, like I mentioned, and then I started just like a little display at the front of the salon. And then I started my Instagram page and I posted one of my pieces to Instagram. This would have been now 2013. And it took right off. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. I had
Yeah.
messages, people wanted a piece, they thought that was really neat. And then all of a sudden, a few businesses messaged me, and I thought, whoa, I'm like a hairdresser here. This was like I was just posting a cute little picture of something I made for my mom. And then I was like, this is really neat. Then I started playing around with like, what's my business name gonna be? I'm like, maybe this is a cool, and it was just gonna be like a business on Instagram. I was just gonna call it that. Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
I was like leaving my job as a hairstylist. I thought this is something cool that maybe I could just promote on Instagram. And yeah, it took off like wildfire. Within the first year, I kind of started, well, took it very seriously, I guess. I ended up leaving my job as a hairstylist after the first year. I
Oh,
just
wow.
slowly each month kind of kept getting busier, and then I just said I was like I would cut back one day from the salon, so I was working 4 days a week, and then so on, so on, and then eventually by the end of that year, I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I'm like, this is like this little side hustle turned into a full-time gig that was really like, obviously I was doing something I enjoyed, so it fulfilled me in so many ways. So I ended up leaving my job as a hairstylist and fully diving into my passion for creating jewelry, and these really basically just pieces of joy. That's what I call them. It's like it's joy in jewelry form.
Yeah.
And yeah, I never looked back. It was so crazy. I wasn't scared. I was like, it makes sense, and just followed my heart, right?
That's so beautiful. And how do you come up with like your design ideas? I'm actually wearing mine right now. It's
Yes,
I love
I
it.
noticed that right away. I'm kind of
Like,
like a weird hawk like that. I was like at Costco and this lady, she's like, "Oh no, your
yeah,
wieners, your hot dogs are dripping. I'll go get you new ones." And then
yeah,
she was like, "Oh hey," and I'm like, "Hey," I was like, "Nice necklace." I noticed it right away. I was like, "Well, that's so ironic. Like, it's so cool because it's like this bright, beautiful heart. It's the
yeah.
international symbol of love, and it's a cool design too. So I always notice it, which I think is so fun. Um, but honestly, my creativity just comes from kind of what I need in the moment. And right now, where I'm creating is really back to this place of almost like playful. My collection that we just launched was really kind of like Barbie vibes, which was really fun. It was really sparkly and watermelon and honey colors.
Yeah.
Everything is always joyful. I think for me, I I was like I've always I don't know. I think that's a good question. I think as like cuckoo and crazy as I can think, I want to kind of bring it to life in a fun way. Like go get 'em tiger has been like something funny that we've been saying in our family like with the kids. So like I have this whole like tiger's eye
Oh,
collection
wow.
coming that's kind of like go get 'em tiger, but it's just like it's all this like really fun kind of stuff like that. So I think if anything that you can think of that would be fun or put a smile on your face. I'm like, I want women to have more of that. Because I
That's so
feel like the
beautiful.
world, I look at the world and I see beauty and joy and opportunity, but I know a lot of people don't. And I'm like, we all have our own perspective. So if
Yeah,
I could just help in a tiny way bring a little bit more joy to someone's life, like a Care Bear, where we would be like these little hearts that we're just sending out love into the world. I'm like, I think that's really fun. We need more fun. We need more joy. And I need that too. I'm like, I am very guilty of being a little Sally over here over the silliest things, but
yeah.
that's why I put this on to remind me to have a little bit more fun each day.
Yeah, and even like your content too. I feel like you're just like glowing. You're just like so much like positive energy in the world. Especially when you're consuming, there's so much negativity everywhere. And it's just like, okay, like Krista's content so good. It puts a smile on my face. And it's just a
Aw.
reminder that there's beauty in the world.
Absolutely, and I think that's what it is too. Like I feel if like I said, I'm like as a 5 year old, I wanted to change the world, and maybe that is like as I still don't know, and I don't need to know
Yeah.
what that is. At the end of my rocking chair, I'll be like, oh yes, the dots have connected. It all makes sense. I don't need to know now. I'm
Yeah.
like I just need to embrace this feeling of like what feels right and follow that, and even if that is just putting a smile on someone's face, or they can have somewhere on this crazy world of Instagram a fun place to go, or somewhere where they can feel uplifted, or put a piece of jewelry on that makes them feel alive or connected to themselves, right? Maybe I'm just
Right.
brightening the world with kindness and joy, and that's contagious too, right? That
You're
that
right.
butterfly effect of just being kind and loving to another person, and hopefully they do that, right? And that's all you can do.
So true. And what has it been like deciding like the quantity of like jewelry you put out there? Because like managing cash flow, inventory, like it's a lot of trial and error.
100% amazing question. The last 2 years, I learned a lot through the cash flow and putting out way too much inventory. I I'm not gonna say it broke me, but I was like, oh, okay. At the end of the year, I was like, oh yes, we do. We are in the business of making people feel loved and happy, but we also do need to make money here,
Right.
people. So yeah, the last couple of years, I think I just got so excited in the design process and putting out as much of it as I could. And we would do a lot of units. That's very expensive.
Yeah.
So I had to learn, even in the last year, I kind of slowed things down a little bit in the amount that we put out. I was like, okay, I love to create. So I was putting so much out there. But this year, like, I feel this need to scale back. And really listen. It's not about more always,
Yeah.
right? It's about just intentionally putting out things that have a little bit more of a deeper meaning. So I think that way, and I'm just doing it a little bit smarter, I think, so that I can control, again, like you said, that cash flow a bit better, where I don't think people needed me to be designing something every week to feel that energy. I'm like, if I
Yeah.
can just put all of that energy into one piece or one collection each month, I think that goes deeper and is felt more than having to do more, 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 right?
Yeah.
So, great question. So this year I'm just focusing on one solid collection per month rather than like just like rainbow collection shooting at you 24/7. So,
Yeah.
and I think financially it's way smarter too because I can plan my year out.
Yeah.
I can save for it, and then once that collection's done, I can put that money that we made into the next collection or whatever, right? It definitely sets you up to be a little bit smarter with your design process. Great question.
For sure. And then are you doing like limited quantities now per month?
Absolutely. Yes. And that's another thing too. Before I'd be like, oh, it's sold out. We'll do another restock. And then I know this through personal experience. Restocking something, it normally never sells the next time around. People like that excitement of the, oh my God, it's here. And then
Yeah.
once it's gone, they're like, oh, FOMO, I won't do that again next time. So I know that for me. And when I watch something sell out, I'm like, shucks, I should have gone on it faster. And then they restock. I'm like, I don't really
Yeah.
need it.
So
Right?
true.
So I am definitely doing that this time around as well, where it's limited quantities, which I think is exciting, and it keeps me feeling like, okay, if this one does sell out, this is something that they're really loving, right? Instead of just
Yeah.
putting so much out there, it's hard to tell what is actually sticking. So the limited quantities is nice, and then I know I order that, and then each month it's consistent on my end as well for budgeting.
So true. And
That's a good question.
have you always like worked with like an accountant and bookkeeper on like the financial side?
Well, actually, yeah, about 3 months into my business, which I didn't really know I was like this was a thing. Like obviously I knew you had to do like that sort of thing from working at the salon, but I was like, oh gosh. So yeah, about 3 months into starting this business, I did have to get an accountant and work through that, which has been actually still an eye opener to me. I'm no stranger to like checking numbers. I love all of that.
Yeah.
So I think that has been something, well, definitely for budgeting and what you need to do for each year, but and just having your money work for you too has been kind of cool too. I didn't know how many ways and opportunities there were to make your money work for you, I guess, is the best way possible. I would just like you be like, okay, well, you know what you spent each month and you know what's coming in, but there's a little bit more to it than that.
So true. Did you always have like a good money mindset? Because I know a lot of women like struggle. There's a lot of avoidance of looking at your bank account or dealing with anything finance related.
Mm, good question. Yeah, it's crazy. Even when I was a hairstylist, I've always had a really good, I think, I don't know if you call it a good relationship with money, but I've always
Yeah.
been super hyper aware of it. I like call myself like Mr. Krabs, like off of SpongeBob. He's like, money, money, money. And I'm
Yeah.
like, even my kids, we're like, we just love it. Like, and I think sometimes people are scared of it, like it's a bad
Yeah.
thing, or if you don't have enough of it. I don't know, like the scarcity mindset. I don't think I've really, it's not necessarily scarcity, but I would say I'm maybe a money hoarder. Once I get a bunch of it, I'm like, oh no, you can't
Yeah.
spend that. But then I'm also like, well, what are we saving it for? What, like, oh, the rainy day. Like my parents would always say you need money for a rainy day. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of like a more live in the moment because I'm like, what if I died tomorrow? I don't want all that money just sitting there.
That's such a good perspective.
I'm not like an all in kind of gambler where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, some days I'm like, no, we can't spend it. And then the other days I'm like, well, isn't it there to spend it?
Yeah. That's so cool.
Depends on the day, I guess. So that's funny.
What's like one financial or business decision that scared you at first, but ended up changing everything for you?
Ooh, that's a very good question. Oh,
Put you on the spot.
no, it's good. Honestly, I probably think with us like changing, I never really spent a lot of investing back into my business like through, oh, that's a good question. I'll just say last year I went all in on just really trusting our manufacturers and putting the money into a really high-end product, which obviously costs a lot of money and time and energy.
Yeah.
But I know this is not a short game. It'll take a long time to grow that side of the business. But that has definitely been the smartest financial decision I've ever made. Um, Investing just about at the end of the year, I put most of my money back into what I'm going to do this year and make it bigger and better each year. Um, it's scary because it's like normally before we'd be like, oh, it's just kind of like small rotating collections where it's not like a huge investment. But then this one, when you know you have so many units each month that you're gonna like allow yourself to do, you know you're back up into a higher dollar value, but the return is so much better because I don't know, you just trust that this is the right direction you're supposed to go.
And then, like, after Dragon's Den, you didn't end up with a deal, but
Right.
just sharing like the Dragons' feedback and their perspectives, did you change anything in your business after that?
Okay, that's another question. You know what? It was actually when we were on the way to Dragon's Den on the airplane, my husband and I were like, you know what? Best case scenario is you don't get a deal. This was our best case scenario. I'm like, you don't get a deal. You walk away with doing something that you've always wanted to do. You basically have a free $250,000 commercial. You get to like
So
share
true.
your joy with the world. And yeah, so we literally left there. I didn't get a deal. I was still so proud of myself, and honestly, I think it worked out the best way. Obviously, it worked out the best way it was meant to. I think just even lots of doors have opened just from me being audacious and doing the thing that I wanted to do. And I think it's just like almost like a little bit of a credibility thing too. They'll be like, "Oh, we've seen you at Dragon's Den. We'd love to have you come speak at our event at our the
Yeah.
university here." Or are the only ads we run are just the Dragon's Den ad where I'm like crying my face off on TV, and so many people that are new customers on our website are like, "Oh, I fell in love with you because you were just so vulnerable and cute." And I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
thank you." So, I think just doing the thing was enough, and just following through with my heart and my goal and my dream, and being 1000% authentic for all of Canada to see paid off more than I think an actual physical deal might have. It would have been incredible to work with them, hands down, but the opportunity has opened up so many doors. And it, like, it's only been 4 months since my episode aired. So,
Yeah.
like, it's crazy the amount of doors that have opened in that small amount of time. So, yeah, the sky's the limit.
Were you scared at all to be that vulnerable, like on national TV?
Well, funny again, I kind of changed my whole pitch while we were in Toronto before, like the day before I was going to go out, which I'm like,
Oh,
what a big
wow.
no no, like not a good idea to do. It kind of was going from more like upbeat, like pumping up women to like going super vulnerable, being like, I don't feel beautiful enough, loved enough, talented enough, successful enough. I
Yeah.
felt like I didn't think I was going to cry at all. I ended up bawling my eyes out. Like the poor guy after was like, "Are you okay?" He's like trying to get me to talk, and I'm like, "I don't know
Yeah.
why I can't stop crying." I think I was just trying to be strong for so long that it just finally let the floodgates. And I'm like,
Yeah.
You're not trying to prove anything other than to yourself, and you're here. You've already showed up. You're here, so just let go." And yeah, I think the best outcome for me was choosing just to be yourself up there, right? And they're gonna love you or not like you, and it's their decision. And as long as you're being true to yourself up there, that's all I could do, right? And I felt so. I think
Right.
that's why it was one of the proudest moments for myself. I was telling everybody, even though I didn't get a deal, I was proud to
Yeah.
tell everybody that I did it because I think I just stayed so true to myself that that's why it felt so aligned and so wonderful.
That's so true. And was it hard keeping it a secret? Because I know you can't tell anybody until it actually airs.
A little bit. I love kind of like that little bit of suspense. And yeah, I didn't. It wasn't that hard. It was more like of a. I was more nervous to see like how they were going to edit the episode and what it was actually going to look like. Right. I was just like,
Right.
oh God, because well, when you're out there, you're like kind of like it goes by so quick. You have no idea. Like, you kind of like, I was trying to stay as present as possible. So I was like, I was more nervous about being like, guys, I don't even know what you're going to be watching, because like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was cray cray out there. Like, you just like black out.
Yeah, it's crazy how they take like an hour footage into like 7 minutes.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, oh my god, what's this 7 minutes gonna look like? I was more nervous about that than keeping that a secret. Be like, guys, we're watching this in real time together, so it was really fun.
Oh, it sounds like so much fun. What are you focusing on now? Like, what does the next like 3 to 5 years look like for you?
Yeah, for me, lots of public speaking and mentoring. I really love, I've had just a few just little tastes of the public speaking and just like sharing my story, and that has just felt so good to see the crowd light up and see something in them light up has been wonderful. And even with just the mentoring, I love that. I've just worked with a few people, but just seeing how you can shift something within them and light that spark in them. We all have something so unique and so powerful about ourselves that I want to help bring that out in other people. I've had a few really amazing mentors in my life, and they've changed the whole trajectory of my life. So if I can do that for other people, whether it's through some public speaking or some mentoring, that's kind of the next little chapter for me for sure. It feels really aligned and kind of just, yeah, where it's not really about you anymore. You're like, how can you serve and add more value to your community?
That's so beautiful. And do you have a criteria for what you look for when mentoring someone?
Well, actually, these people that I've actually reached out to them because I've seen huge potential in them.
Oh,
And I
wow.
thought, okay, I would love, like, here's the outline of what I would love to go over. I see something so amazing in you. There's just a few things that I would just like want to just throw at you and just let you know about you. And I look for people that are passionate about what they do. Like, you can totally tell that when they talk about it, they light up.
Yeah,
I look for somebody that kind of feels like a little bit of an underdog, but they're not like, if you just could get a little bit more confidence in yourself, you would skyrocket, right? Like, you
right.
have everything. You just need that little bit more belief in yourself, right? I love that. And I think the third thing is somebody that is just willing to try. They will show up, and these people, I can see them showing up over and over and over and over again, and they deserve that chance to be ultimately seen. And I believe in them. So I think just me putting a little bit of my belief in them, maybe that's all they need too, right? Having a little cheerleader.
That's such a cool experience. Now, I want
Well,
to talk a
thank
little
you.
bit about like your personal life because I know you're into like health, the cold dipping. How do you make time for all of that with running your business full time? Because I know a lot of times people start the business for more free time, but they end up spending all their time in their business and then they don't make time for family, taking care of themselves, end up with like health issues, not really like taking care of themselves overall.
That is a beautiful, beautiful way that you unfolded all of that. Um, I didn't. I've always been into like exercise and kind of fitness. That's just always, I think, for my ADHD brain, it just works well. It's what actually like keeps it somewhat regulated. I think I've just understood that since like a teenager, that that's what actually works for like my nervous system.
Yeah.
But specifically, you're right. I think whew, the last, I'll say pinpoint around last 6 to 8 years, I turned into a complete workaholic. There is, I don't think I got into business thinking I'd have more free time. I just loved it because I was actually doing something that I was passionate about. When you are a business owner, it is literally, what do they say, like 25/7? Like, you're
Yeah.
actually working more than
Yeah.
like 24 hours a day. But if it's aligned and you love it, there are certain things, like for the last 6 to 8 years, I have definitely dabbled in some things where if you're constantly burning out, you're getting sick, you're feeling fatigued, you're not enjoying it, that's ultimately, that's not alignment. That is not alignment.
Yeah.
It's whether you need to delegate more, whether you need to get rid of that completely. I've been there for sure, where when you're in alignment and you're in harmony with what you're meant to do, you should not be burning out and exhausted and sick and all of those things, right? So I learned that the hard way through extreme burnout and sickness and mental health, like complete, like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think this year, most years for me, every year I pick a word and it's usually like all in, audacious, kick
Mhm.
ass, like, right? Like some sort of like, I don't know, like go big or go home, like, like
Yeah.
really like go getter
All or
achiever
nothing.
word. Yeah. And this year I was like, oh, my word is stillness. And that sits really nice with me because, yeah, there's years and times when you need to climb and you need to go and you need to really dig in. But there's also a lot to be said about aligning yourself and figuring out what feels right instead of just pushing through all the time. So I think for me, that is actually feels harder to do than pushing and grinding. I can push and grind all day long,
Yeah.
but is that what's always needed? No. Stillness and slowing down, I feel like in society, I go to my yoga class and most people in there are like, we have to like share our name and why we're here, what's our intention. 9 out of 10 always say, I want to slow down. I
Yeah.
need to breathe. I need to relax. I'm here to calm down. And I'm like, isn't that the way that society kind of is, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I think for me, stillness and silence and softness is much needed. And that doesn't always mean you're doing less.
Yeah.
I might just be putting myself more, I might be just as busy, but in the right aligned things, right? So
Right.
that it feels wonderful instead of so forced and exhausting and right.
Yeah.
So I'm allowing my little intuition to just let me go, let the world hold me a little bit, and just sit there and let these beautiful downloads come and listen to my intuition on the direction I meant to go. So yeah.
That's so true. Because if you're constantly like in hustle mode in your business, like think about like the longevity of your business. Like maybe it'll last a couple of years, but then you're gonna burn out. How are you gonna last like a 10, 20 years?
Absolutely. And I literally, after last year, I was like, okay, I literally checked off every audacious thing that I wanted on my list, but I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think I could do another day like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so, like, I'm a high achiever, which I love
Me
it. And you're
too.
like, you're climbing the mountain, but sometimes on that climb of the mountain, you know what? They do have base camps where you're allowed to
Yeah.
rest. And right? Build yourself back up and enjoy that little camp out picnic for a while and enjoy the view. So that's what I'm going to do. And it doesn't mean I'm just sitting around doing nothing. I'm just doing things that actually fill me up. Whether it's designing smaller collections with more intention, whether it's just public speaking, just out of the joy of going to an old folks' home and just speaking and seeing them light up.
Wow.
Or maybe it's just mentoring some people and seeing them light up, right? Like that makes me feel really good
Yeah.
doing 100 days of kindness just because I want to like challenge myself to put smiles on other people's faces. It's stuff like that
Yeah.
that ultimately I think when you're taking care of you and you're filling up your cup, everything else flourishes in your life, right? Whether
Right.
it's your business, your health, your mindset, all of those things. So some of us need to be pushed and we're like maybe too lackadaisy and need that hustle and grind, but I don't really, I've been through the hustle culture and I am
Yeah.
going to say I do not believe in it. Been there, done that, not doing it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much like unlearning you have to do as an adult.
Yes, and it's crazy because me and my husband, we purchased another business at the beginning of this year, and this business has been around since 1962. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
an established business. It has employees. So we just took it over. The lady was ready to retire, and we both sat down with each other and we just said, "This is going to be a lot of work. There's a lot of building that needs to be done. We're rebranding and just kind of starting from scratch." But we both said to each other, it was so beautiful. We said, if for some reason this all doesn't work out and we're just like, you know what, this is we're putting too much hours and time and energy into it. At the end of the day, what's really important is me, my husband, and my
Mhm.
children. If that's all we have left at the end of the day, then that's all I need, right? That's
Right.
all we need is each other. So we don't want to lose our core values and our like basically our non-negotiables along the way because we've both had businesses, done businesses, and you learn a lot of things where you're like, I will not make that mistake again. So I think as much as it does hurt some of the things that happen along the journey, they're definitely huge learning lessons that you're like, okay,
Right.
you really can benefit from it if you take the lesson and learn from it, not repeat it. I've repeated a few times. I got stuck on that hamster wheel, but you can get off the hamster wheel.
So true. In terms of like buying your jewelry, do you just sell like at markets? I know you have a website where you sell directly to. Is it Canada wide
Yes. So we were kind of selling in the US as well, but that has kind of slowed down with all the
with the
craziness
tariffs?
that's, yeah, with all that's going on. Because I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyways, we're Canadian. I love our Canadians. So we sell all over Canada. Actually, it's crazy. I'm here in Saskatchewan and we ship all the way over to, like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia,
Oh
which is
wow.
so cool, and like PI over there. And I'm like, wow, it's like we're like there's like it's just wonderful. It connects us all together in this beautiful like this culture of Canadians. I think we're like the kindest people ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sell on the website all over Canada, and we're actually not doing any markets this year. We've decided that it's a lot of commitment and
Mhm.
energy, and I am going to put that towards just doing some other things this year that will fill me up, I think, just a little bit more. And so yeah, it's just strictly e-commerce. We do a little bit of the live shopping on Whatnot. I know Gary Vee talks about that being such a huge thing coming, and I don't
Yeah.
disagree because so much of what we do is on these like devices, our phones, our computers. So it's just a cool way to interact with your customer live. From them literally being on like their couch or on the beach or
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, you can still shop. So I think that's super fun. But yeah, I'm keeping it really simple this year. Like I have a sign in my bathroom and it's massive. It's like taller than me and it says keep life simple. And I see it every damn day. And sometimes I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
But I'm really starting to understand it. So everything is being simplified this year. So e-commerce, social media. I love connecting with everybody on Instagram. It's my favorite platform. I think Instagram is just so fun. I love direct messaging people, videos, all the things. That's my jam.
Yeah, and I love you send voice notes directly too. You don't have like an AI robot or anyone
No,
else answering those
gosh,
messages.
no. Those are the things you learn along the way too. I've
Yeah.
had all of that hired out. I've had lots of, or emails used to be all hired out. And you know what? I felt like a part of me kind of died when that happened because I'm like, that's what actually inspires most of my collections is the
Yeah.
people that I meet and the people I talk to. So I was like, I get to type these emails up and I am messaging everybody
I
because
love that.
it we need more of that human connection because a lot of it is lost in our technology.
So true. And you and your husband just recently launched a podcast as well. Could you share a little bit about that?
Yes. Oh my gosh, we love it. It's kind of like our date night thing that we do together. So we get to like hang out and podcast and we love it. We're yin and yang, so it works really well. I'm super bright and neon all the time. He's like darker, super tattooed, kind of looks like a biker Harley guy.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. It totally works. We're definitely yin and yang. But our podcast is called Everyday Edie, and we talk about anything and everything. I think that's what I love about my husband. He has zero filter, and he is not afraid to talk about anything. He actually likes confrontation. He thinks it's very healthy, and I don't
Yeah.
disagree. Like most people don't want to like upset anybody or like say anything. They just like don't voice their opinions. It's like, well, you know what? Just you gotta live, man. So
Yeah.
no topic is off topic. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had the chance to meet your husband in Calgary and he was like
That's
very sweet,
right.
so supportive.
He is the most supportive man. The only thing I think he's like not always game on is I'm like, okay, I have this idea. I want to do this and this and this and this. He's like,
Yeah. Slow
no,
down.
no more things, no more things, right? I'm like, I think
Yeah.
that's just my creative be like, let's do this, let's do this. Well, like, why don't we just make one thing really good instead of like 5,000 things? I don't disagree with that.
What is the best way for our audience to connect with you?
Yeah, I would definitely say on Instagram, it's DBL Designs, Dream, Believe, Live Designs. So DBL Designs on Instagram. I love connecting there. They can also go to my website, which is dbldesigns.ca. I have a little pop up that comes up where you can put your name or email phone number in there. And that is just because I love chatting back and forth. My emails, I feel like, are just like we're just talking to my best friend. So if you want to be besties, you can go onto the website there, fill that out. And it's so awesome to connect with everyone. We need more of it. And the connection, the love, the joy. And it's what it's all about.
Thank you so much, Krista. I'm so glad we connected and you replied to my email.
Isn't that awesome? And
Yeah.
even when like people like reach out all the time, and it's so funny, and I'll send a video, and like you said, lots of people are like, oh my God, it's actually you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I was like, well, of course it is. Like, and I think that's what we need more of, like in this day and age too, especially with AI. We're like, I just want a beautiful human on the other side. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy we got to connect. You're a ray of sunshine, and this has
Thank
been
you.
absolutely amazing.
Thanks so much, Krista.
Ah, thank you, girl.
If you're a founder who wants real strategy, not noise, and you want someone in your corner helping you build a business that feels aligned, is profitable, and actually supports your life, you can apply for CFO on Call. This is my one-on-one financial partnership for established founders, typically making between $500K to $2 million, who want clarity, who want structure and confidence with their numbers. The link is in the show notes so you can schedule a profit strategy call, or you can DM me CFO on Instagram at @CindyKamar and I'll send over all the details.